The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Thank you, Tally Olson. We are back. New York baseball in the zone, the Mets edition. I'm Ralph Tyko with the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. And I've got the two mavens here, Robert Cole and Marty Rose. Start with you, Mert. How are you?
Okay, Ralph. Pretty good. Just trying to keep warm. Last couple of days been unseasonably chilly, but we'll be pretty much back to normal tomorrow.
Your unseasonably chilly is typical of the Northern California winter. Not really that chilly, not really, 55, something like that?
Oh, no, it was chilly, Ralph.
in the morning it was like in the 30s. But,
yeah.
Warmed up to about 60, I think. And tomorrow we'll be back in the 70s, we should be.
Yeah. Well, your blood gets a little thin when you live in a warm weather climate, so it affects you more. And I don't know if you guys still have your winter clothing.
Not much.
No.
I have a couple of long sleeve. Got a couple of sweatshirts and long sleeve pullovers. That's about it.
Yeah.
No big coats or anything.
No.
Don't need them.
No. All right. We've got a manager.
Yes, we do.
Louis, and he's got a great pedigree. Listen to this. Louis Rojas is Moises's brother and Felipe's son. They both took different names. In the Spanish culture, taking the mother's name is not unusual or whatever. But he's coached in the system for 4 years. Marty, tell me something that you know about him that should make me want to be happy that he's the new manager.
Well, he's young enough. He's going to be 39 this year. He knows the team. I mean, he's managed at Columbia in the Mets system. Every guy that I've heard that has been interviewed that has played under him only had good things to say about him. Very excited. Tomas Nido is one of the guys. Thrilled to have Rojas there. And
good.
So I think this is going to turn out to be a very good hire.
How about your response, if you will, Robert?
Oh, yeah. I was very, very happy to hear that it was him. So many people, want the big names, but he makes sense. He's been in the system, like Marty said. He knows at least half the roster already because they played for him. He knows basically everybody in the system because he's been up and down the system, so he knows pretty much all the players that would be coming up. Mm-hmm. It keeps the continuity because he was already the quality control coach, and he was already in meetings down in St. Lucie, with Beltran, who was expecting to manage the team when the news came. So it keeps the continuity. These guys have been together already for about a month. So, I think it's a very good thing. It stays where they want to stay. They wanted to stay young. They wanted to stay, somebody who is oriented in statistics and all of that good stuff, and he fits the bill.
Yeah. You want me to tell you guys who the happiest guy about all this is? Is Felipe Alou. He came out and bad-mouthed Beltran already. Those guys have had a feud that kept Beltran from signing with San Francisco when Felipe was the manager. So it goes back a long ways. And he was just delighted, saying that his son will make a much better manager, and this, that, and the other thing. So just goes to prove that everyone in the Dominican doesn't necessarily get along just because they're from the Dominican, as we know with all these shootings and what have you.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Worldwide strife. And there's that's nothing more. This whole thing is a carryover from the Houston cheating scandals, the sign stealing scandals.
Yep.
So I wonder if Heinle Mullins, who was signed as the Mets bench coach, won't become the manager of Boston. That's been rumored.
Yeah, that has been rumored.
Did he sign a contract with the Mets already, though?
Yes, but I
yes,
think
but
when
go ahead, Rob.
When these guys, sign as coaches, they usually have an out clause that, if they able to get a promotion, such as going to manager, that, the team will not stand in their way. So we'll see what happens. I'm not so sure that he'll get the Red Sox job. He's been mentioned for it, but Chaim Bloom is there, so I don't know. There's been a lot of talk that the Rays bench coach is his first choice, so we'll have to see.
Also, Dusty still keeps coming up in names. Do you think there's a chance that he'll get a job?
I don't. Buck Showalter might get the Astros job. He'd probably be a good fit for this condition they're in right now. But I don't see Dusty getting a job. Not with the three that are open, no. Or the two that are open now.
I'm kind of glad that neither one of those guys got the Mets job, because, I just didn't think that either Dusty or Buck could get along with Brody, because they know so much more than Brody does.
Right.
Could you see them, taking orders from a guy that's been an agent his whole life? I just don't see the fit there. I'm glad that they did what they did.
Yeah, right from the beginning, that wasn't a good fit. I mean, any of the guys that all of the people wanted, Joe Girardi and Joe Madden, none of those guys were fit. I mean, they're too high-powered guys to mesh with Brody. So,
right.
This is a good fit.
Okay. What's going on personnel-wise? I heard that the Mets are actively trying to put something together with the C word and Lowry. Do you think they could ever convince someone to take a chance on those two guys in the package and give anything back in return?
Well, in the beginning, the A's were rumored to have an interest in the two of them. They're both ex-A's, and there was a rumor that they'd be interested in both of them. I don't know how Marty feels, I personally would rather they keep Cespedes and let's see what he's got.
Yeah, good point.
I think so. I mean, like it's what we've said before, this is his contract year. He's out to prove something. But, he's also going to be 35 this year, if you believe, his birth certificate. So, which you never know with these guys. But, yeah, I don't think that anybody would really go for him. I know there was talk about this Arenado guy, that somebody like the Mets might be interested in him, but the asking price is absurd. for a guy that, half his statistics are from Coors Field, they want like McNeil plus 2 or 3 prospects. That's insane. That'll never happen. Never happen. And they'll never pay him either. So that's nuts. But I definitely keep Cespedes. Definitely for this year.
I would go ahead and pretty much keep the team intact the way it is.
I was going to say, standing pat doesn't sound like a bad idea. They've got relief pitching that they so desperately needed.
Right. They bolstered the rotation.
Right.
Yeah, they got 6 possible starters now, and they got Betances in the bullpen to what they already had. So
the only thing that worries me, everybody in the East, everybody around us seems to be getting better. I mean, not that we're not that we didn't improve ourselves, but Atlanta seems to, they had a good signing the other day. Whose name slips? Yes.
Osuna. Yeah, they're good, no question.
Yeah.
No question.
But then
let's talk a little New York City. Oh, go ahead, Marty. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say the Nationals lost Rendon, so that he can't be replaced. The guy is terrific.
Yes.
And I don't know what the Phillies did. I don't recall them doing much or any big names. I could be wrong, except for the manager, but can only manage what the players he's got. So, the Braves are going to be tough again, but I think the Mets made good improvements. Very
good.
Yeah, the main thing with the Mets is they have to be able to beat the Braves, and that's what killed them last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything about winter New York City sports that you guys want to talk about? Anything that's about this season that has impressed you? First of all, we have the big news that the Giants' Eli Manning is going to retire.
Which is good.
Press conference tomorrow at 11. Oh, and by the way, the Rojas press conference is also tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So,
oh, wow.
It should be somewhere hopefully on TV, and we could see it. I don't get SNY here, but maybe MLB will pick it up. Or SNY actually does stuff online that you could probably see.
Yeah, they do.
If you don't have the channel, which I don't. So.
Yeah, I don't either.
And my little thing that picks up the radio games, what do they call it? Game Day.
Right.
They have a lot of videos of what's going on. They'll carry live videos occasionally. If not live, they'll post them as soon as as they get them. So we'll find out. Be nice to see.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it'd be nice to see Rojas sitting there and answering questions, and how he handles the press and how he communicates.
Yeah, definitely.
Marty,
nice
did they say where the press conference is? Is it going to be in New York or is it going to be St. Lucie?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure about that. That's a good point. I would assume it's going to be in New York, but I didn't hear where it's really going to take place. I don't know.
Okay, because
what you were saying before, Ralph, is I don't follow pretty much winter sports. Now that football's over in New York, I don't follow the NBA or the NHL anymore, so can't really comment. Except I know the Knicks suck. That.
Yeah, well, you could say that. and the Jets. Although the Jets showed more signs of having a future this year, from what little I saw of them, than anything recent. Robert?
Yeah. Their coach is a question mark. They're bringing him back. There was a lot of talk that he wasn't even going to get through his year, but so we'll have to see. The draft is the next big thing that comes up after the Super Bowl, so we'll see.
Okay. You know what I like the best about the Super Bowl? Once it's over, it marks the countdown to spring training. Exactly.
Yep.
And even now, I think there's like 20 days left to pitchers and catchers. Is that?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
Was it about the 12th, I think? About the 12th of February?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So
And
the Super Bowl's on the 2nd, so
right.
it'll be like about 10 days after that.
Yep.
Which is very good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
And when is that game that the Mets are going to play in Lakeland, Marty?
The 25th,
early, right?
February 25th. They're in Lakeland, which is like a half hour from me. So I looked up the tickets a couple of weeks ago, and they're in the 30s. So it's
Really?
not terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, when I first moved down here 30-some years ago, you used to be able to go to spring training for like $4 or $5.
Well.
And we'd go all the time. I mean, it was great, It was a lot of fun. My son enjoyed it. But now, they charge $30, $40, $50. The Phillies charge $30 to sit in the berm.
Oh man, that's insane.
So it's
crazy. I was talking to Peggy, and she says, well, we could go to Lakeland. I mean, it's only a half hour, and you have lunch or dinner or whatever, and you come home. And if I had to go to Port St. Lucie, it'd be a hotel overnight, and more money. I'm sure the Mets charge a lot more than the Tigers do. So, but we'll see. I didn't buy the tickets yet. We'll see. I might go there. I'm leaning towards going as of now.
Yeah. Well,
I'm wondering. It's been about 30 years 25 years since I've been to Port St. Lucie. I wonder, and it was so rural. I wonder how it's built up now.
Oh, it's been
it's
guaranteed.
I was there 2 years ago, and it's houses everywhere. It's not like it was 25 years ago.
Yeah, I can remember the back roads to get there and almost running out of gas. And like I say, it was just out in the sticks.
Yeah, well, the areas of Florida that, were not built up like 20 years ago
right.
are being built up. Like when I lived in Jacksonville, and like in the county just south of Jacksonville, it's being built like you wonder where these people are going to be getting jobs from. They're just building houses and more houses and more houses. It's insane. And here, I heard on the news here the other day, Orange County, which is where Orlando is in, they say they're getting 1,500 people a week are moving here. 1,500 people a week. And that's just Orange County. That's just Orange County.
Right.
So, I mean, I live in the county like near Kissimmee, which is Osceola, and it's being built everywhere. Everywhere you go, they're building more and more houses. So, I guess it's more and more people, our age or a little bit younger that are just starting to retire, getting out of the cold, coming down this way, and
right. They're not based on it's not based on industry. It's based on people with fixed incomes, and
well, Florida's good because there's no state tax. So,
right.
That's a big deal, especially if you're coming from New York City, where you got to pay city and state. You come here, I mean, they get you on other things, like your car payment, taxes, and plates and stuff like that. But there's no income tax. It's a good deal for retirees,
right.
No question.
Right. Okay, guys, this has been an informative show and a nice one because we're all three of us at ease going into spring training with a solid chance to be contenders. And if thinking back, there have been so many years being a Met fan where you go into spring training, you say, look, I'm fooling myself. We don't have a shot in hell. And looks good. I know it's all based on staying healthy and injuries and expectations, but they seem to be deep all through. And
right. The lineup is set already.
Lineup is set. I'm very encouraged by the year at shortstop that Rosario had the second half of the year. He seemed to really be settling in. And
I'd be interested to see if they move him to the top of the lineup, for good.
Right.
Because he did show really good signs when he was up at the top of the order last year.
Yeah. And, the Marty thing really never took off, but not the Marty thing. Don't worry, Peg. The Marte thing, my pronunciation is wrong. But I'm starting to look at Nemo's on-base percentage and what have you, and the fact that he's got a certain enthusiasm and a flair for the game that I really like. So I'd be satisfied going into the season with him in center field, for sure.
The only thing that scares me is Brody wanting to make a big splash, and until we get past that, that'll concern me. Like the talk we just had about wanting to get Arenado. That's a Brody kind of thing that he would do, and that still scares me. I still don't trust him.
Yeah. On the plus side too, we have impending new ownership. I think it's slowly being phased in, but we're gonna, we should all three live so long to see it.
As long as his money's phased in quick,
Right.
That's the main thing.
Yeah. Well, the best thing that could happen, in a couple of different reasons, would be for the Mets to win the World Series this year. That would give Wilpon what he wants, and then they would probably bow out gracefully, and we three would all be happy as well. And the future of the Mets would be a lot better.
Yes.
Where do I sign for that?
Well,
I'll send the paperwork to you in the mail, Marty.
Okay.
I'll do my part. Well, let's set up some electronic sign stealing, and we can get these guys going.
Yeah, well, with our luck, we probably electrocute ourselves.
You could see it in Podcaster News. Who was it that was riding on the plane with Kennedy? Famous comedian, and Kennedy comes up to him in the plane. He's walking around, and he says, "If this plane goes down, you're going to get very little publicity." And who's that guy who would come out in a sweater and read the news and read from the news? My God, my mind is going. And don't remind us, Robert, of why it's going. Thank you. Robert plays the part. Robert plays the part of Vivian Tyko every now and again. And She reminds me of the real truth. Hey, thank you for being here, guys. This is, for me, part of the most fun that I have in the course of a week. Marty,
Good.
first grade together, second grade together, going to the Y in Flushing on the bus at 10 years old together without parents or anything. And we were talking ball then. We were talking sports then. So for us to be doing this 60 years later, 60 plus years later, not a bad thing. We're survivors, and we made it this far. And wow, not much more to say. Not much more you can say about that.
Nope.
Okay, guys. As I tear up, God, you do this to me every time. Thank you.
Next time
be
we
well.
Get some news, back.
Yes, next time we get some news, we'll be back at you. Have a great Super Bowl. Stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for listening, everybody. It's New York City. Sports in the Zone, New York Met version. Marty Rose, Robert Cole, and me, the weak link, Ralph Tyko. Adios, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.